The first thing the woman did after her rebirth was to write down the pesticide formula against locusts that she had studied in English. In her previous life, as an expert in agronomy, she had canceled an international conference to travel to her husband's village and help the residents solve their locust problem. After using the woman's pesticide, the villagers unintentionally attracted a new wave of locusts that devoured all their crops. Enraged, they immediately took the woman to the temple to punish her, throwing the formula at her. As she read it, she realized that it had been altered. At that moment, her cousin entered the temple holding the real formula and claimed that the villagers had successfully used it to eliminate the locusts. The woman, noticing that the formula was exactly the same as hers, accused her cousin of stealing it. After all, her cousin was illiterate and could not have written it herself. Feigning innocence, the cousin lied, claiming that the formula came from an ancient book belonging to her family. The villagers believed her, assuming that the woman had come from the city to experiment on their land. Without hesitation, they killed her on the spot. When the woman opened her eyes again, she found herself back on the first day of her arrival in the village. Determined not to repeat her past mistakes, she swore to act differently this time. She decided to write her formula in English in secret, thinking her cousin would no longer be able to steal it. The next day, just like in her previous life, her cousin arrived with the mayor, accusing her of plagiarism. To defend herself against the false accusation, the woman presented the English version of the formula she had just written for comparison. But to her surprise, her cousin also had an English formula. Although the mayor did not understand English, he still accused the woman of plagiarism because the letters in both formulas were identical. He immediately ordered her to be taken to the temple for punishment. In an attempt to prove her credibility, the woman showed them her state-issued scientific medal, which recognized her as an expert in agronomy. However, the villagers dismissed it as fake, insisting that she had copied the formula from her cousin's ancient book. Knowing that her cousin couldn't read English, the woman challenged her to read the formula aloud. Nervously, the cousin claimed that the formula in the ancient book was written in an old script and that she could only look at it, not read it. Noticing her cousin's anxiety, the woman decided to expose her. She proposed a competition in 3 days to see whose pesticide could truly stop the locust invasion. To prevent her cousin from stealing her formula again, she vowed not to leave her house during this time. Unfortunately, she overlooked one crucial detail: her cowardly husband. He had already allied with her cousin and had stolen the woman's formula. When the competition began, the cousin confidently announced the pesticide formula and its dosage. The woman was shocked. It was identical to hers. She couldn't understand how her cousin had managed to steal her formula when she had never left her house. At that moment, the cousin once again accused the woman of plagiarism. The woman turned to her husband for support, but he coldly responded that he had been too busy over the past 3 days and couldn't confirm whether she had stayed home or not. Fortunately, the woman had taken precautions. She had never actually written down the complete solution against the locusts. She had memorized it. She had deliberately left out a key ingredient to prevent her cousin from stealing it again. As the locusts approached, both women fought over which pesticide the villagers should use. Still distrusting the woman from the city, the villagers chose to use the cousin's pesticide. They would soon pay the price for their decision.